Okay, this is going to be part 2. If you saw the first video I placed, that was just basically what you're looking at now, what I have in the tank. This next video here will be an explanation of the filtration system I have running my tank. As you can see, the first thing I did was drill holes through the floor because my system is in the basement. Keeps things clean and quiet up here under the tank and in the main room. In a minute, I'll take you downstairs and we'll look at the whole filtration system. Okay, here we are down in the basement, and this is the heart of my filtration system. As you can see, like I said before, the lines come down through the floor into the sump. Now, the first thing that you see is the lines go into two filtration bags. They're 200 micron bags, and that drains into the first section of the sump. In that section, I also have the protein skimmer. Raised up to the proper water level. And on the side, I have the phosphate reactor for phosphates. And I have the return coming out of that going back into the bag just in case any of the little particles get loose and go into the water flow. So the bag will catch that also. Now, once we get past that step, it goes over the first barrier and into the refugium. The refugium I built here on the base, I have Miracle Mud, which I replace half of every year, and Caulerpa. As a lighting for the Caulerpa, I have a plant growth light, not a fish tank type of light, but this is a regular plant LED grow light for growing, any kind of indoor plants or anything like that. It seems to work great because this stuff grows like crazy. I'm cleaning it out at least once a week. It's over full all the time. So that is in the center of my sump system. Then, as you can see, it goes over that small half wall. It goes underneath another wall and back up and over a second half wall into the return section. This system here helps keep micro bubbles out of your system. At least that's what I was told, and when I read and things I read about when I was setting it up. So I did it that way. Whether it really does anything or not, I don't know, but that's how I followed recommendations. Then once it's in the return section, I have my return pump that goes to this line, and it pumps it back up through the ceiling into the fish tank. I also have attached to this system, I'll go over here. This is just a utility tank, an extra tank I got cheap that I set up to do my water changes and to put any injured animal, or if I have something that's causing a problem in the tank, I'll take it out and put it in here until I figure out what to do with it. It's a 30-gallon tank. I bought this used cheap. It's great, like I said, for doing my water changes without having to go up to the tank. I will explain that in a video on water changes. The way I have this hooked up to my tank and my main sump, if I can show you the plumbing, this is drilled through the back of the tank. It's the overflow. It flows down and comes out back here. I have it going into another bag just for a little bit of extra cleaning, and that drains down into the return section of the sump. I also have coming out of the sump, out of this section, a second pump that pumps water into that tank through here. Right here. This is coming into the tank, as you can see, right up here, going into the tank, and right here, it goes out of the tank and back. So what I have is just a constant flow going in and out of that extra tank that I used for water changes and any issues I have with livestock or whatever. I could throw it in there until I figure out what to do with it. The sump is just a 55-gallon fish tank I bought used. I think I paid 30 or 40 bucks for it. Then I went to my local glass shop and had them cut me the acrylic pieces in for the dividers. I siliconed those in with some aquarium silicone. If you see on the first piece, see if I can point this out, you see holes I had drilled across the top. That would be right here. All the way across the top I have some holes drilled in there. Let's see if I can get a better picture. There they are. Instead of the water just flowing over the top, this gives it a better flow into the refugium. It mellows it out so it doesn't really disturb too much. I also have these dividers here on both sides, and that keeps the light out of the two ends, so I'm not growing all kinds of algae from light and everything in areas I do not want the algae. Trying to think if I missed anything for now. Oh, okay. Over here, I have this item here, which is also, I'm trying to see if I can get a better view. I'm sorry. This piece right here. That is my automatic top off. And that keeps the water level proper. So as the water evaporates, that will turn on if it goes below a certain level. And with this tube here, it will put unsalted water back into the tank until it re-reaches the level, the proper level. And since when the water evaporates and salt doesn't evaporate, by putting unsalted water in, it levels everything out. Let me go over here again. I'll walk around. And if we go over here, I just fill this bucket with some DE water. And that's the control unit. And there's just a little pump that comes with the system, and when the water goes down below the sensor turns on the pump flows water back into the tank. When it reaches the proper level, it shuts off the pump, and that keeps the level proper. So I just keep some deionized water in there. So to summarize, I'll come back here. 55-gallon tank turned into a sump. Plastic dividers or acrylic dividers glued in to create different sections. The first section is where the water initially goes into the micron bags. That's where the Phosphane reactor operates, and also that is where it goes through my protein skimmer. Then everything flows through the refugium part That's Caulerpa and Miracle Mud. Then it goes into the return section. I have 2 pumps in there. One pumps everything back up into the fish tank. One pumps into that spare tank I have for the water changes. And then that pumps back into this section. And I believe that'll do it for this part of the video. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Just leave me a message. Oh, let me go over a few things. Obviously, we know the phosphate reactor. The reason why I got the phosphate reactor is I was really starting to get hair algae in my main tank. And it was starting to be a really pain in the butt. So I read up on it, and it said this is a possible cure. I got it. The media I use inside is not that. That was Reef Carbon, which is a waste. Is this Phosphate Out Pro. That's what's inside the phosphate reactor. Once I started using that, all my problems went away. Hair algae disappeared. It works wonders. It's a miracle. It made my life a lot easier. The refugium part does its job. It keeps a lot of the nitrates out of the tank. I get almost no unwanted growth or anything like that, or negative issues with that in my main tank. Obviously, the protein skimmer does a great job. This is a good protein skimmer. I bought it online for like $70, and it's worked fine since I got it. I don't even remember what the brand is, but we all know what protein skimmers do in a fish tank. They take all the crap out, and this one works very well. And that'll be it for this video. The next video, what I'll do is I'll go into the build of the tank and explain from start to finish, or start to where I am now, as far as the build and the process of putting together the fish tank itself. Okay, have a good day, everyone.